Hi everyone, my name is Alejandro Ibarra, and today I want to talk about the film E.T., the Extraterrestrial, and how it connects to the myth and ritual theories that we've been studying, especially the ideas from E.O. James. So to start, E.T. was directed by Steven Spielberg, and it tells the story of a young boy named Elliot who discovers an alien hiding in his shed. This alien, E.T., was accidentally left behind on Earth by his spaceship. Instead of being afraid, Elliot becomes curious and eventually forms a really strong bond with E.T. As the story goes on, their friendship deepens, but it also becomes more, I would describe it as complicated. E.T. starts to get sick, and soon the government gets involved. Scientists and officials try to take control of the situation, and E.T.'s life starts hanging in by the balance. It becomes clear that E.T. can't survive on Earth, and he needs to return home. Then we get that famous scene where Elliot and his siblings help E.T. escape. They ride their bikes literally into the sky to help get E.T. back to his spaceship. The ending is, I believe the ending was very emotional with E.T. saying goodbye and returning to his planet. It's a beautiful story, and this movie involved themes like connection, love, and loss. Now, while it's not necessarily, I would describe it as not necessarily a religious film, E.T. actually still contains a lot of elements that relate to myth and ritual, especially through the lens of E.O. James's theory in the beginnings of religion. James talks about how early humans tried to make sense of life, death, and the unknown through sacred stories and rituals. He believed that religion began in this feeling of awe or reverence toward mysterious forces or beings, something greater than ourselves. In many ways, E.T. Represents that kind of like being. He's glowing, he heals people with a touch, he comes from another world, and he even dies and comes back to life. That resurrection moment especially carries a lot of symbolic weight. He's not human, but he has like these sacred, almost divine qualities that inspire wonder in the children and in us as the audience as well. James also mentions how sacred beings can appear in non-human or semi-human forms. That's exactly what we see with E.T. He doesn't look like us, but he expresses love, empathy, and emotional intelligence. E.T. connects with Ellie on such a deep human level that we forget that he's not human. And that fits right into James's idea that sacred figures don't have to be human in form, they just need to spark that emotional and spiritual response. Another element that James talks about is ritual. When E.T. leaves, the goodbye scene feels almost like a ritual or rite of passage. It's not just a farewell. You can sense by the scene that's deeply emotional. It's a deeply emotional moment filled with symbolism, like E.T. touching Elliot's forehead and saying, "I'll be right here." That gesture almost feels sacred, almost like a blessing. James also talks about emergent ritual, where people show devotion, grief, or reverence towards a sacred figure. That's what we see in the way that the kids react to E.T.'s departure. There's a real sense of mourning and love, and it creates, I would describe like a ceremonial moment, even though it's not tied to any really specific religion. You can still kind of feel like that ceremonial being of E.T.'s departure. Spielberg also uses film elements to reinforce these themes. The music by John Williams plays a huge role. If you hear the music, it sounds almost whimsical, mysterious, and emotional. It brings out that sense of wonder and the sacred without using any religious language. Also, the cinematography contributes to the film and its ideas of myth and ritual. Spielberg keeps the camera low to match the children's perspective. That makes us feel like we're seeing everything through the children's eyes and invites us to experience the mystery and the awe of E.T. in the same way that they do. So overall, while E.T. might seem like a simple kids movie on the surface, it actually ties into big ideas about sacredness, love, loss, and mystery. It reflects the kinds of myths and rituals that early people used to understand their world without ever stating it directly. In the end, Spielberg creates a story that's magical and emotional, but also deeply connected to the human experience of trying to understand life and death. And just like myths and rituals aim to explain the things we don't fully understand, E.T. gives us a lens into his mystery through the eyes of a child. Thank you so much for listening. I'm excited to hear what you all think.